This is gonna blow your mind. The NFL season is upon us, and with it comes the excitement of fantasy football. Just when you thought you had your draft board figured out, a blockbuster trade rocks the league, sending shockwaves through the fantasy landscape. The Philadelphia Eagles have acquired wide receiver Jahan Dotson from the Washington Commanders, shaking up the fantasy football outlook for several players. This unexpected move has left fantasy managers scrambling to reassess their draft strategies and adjust their rankings. Dotson, a promising young talent, now finds himself in a crowded Eagles receiving corps. Meanwhile, the Commanders have a void to fill in their passing game. Let's break down the fantasy implications of this trade for the key players involved. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for more updates from Trending USA. Jahan Dotson, the 2022 first-round pick, was poised for a potential breakout season with the Commanders. However, his move to Philadelphia significantly dampens his fantasy outlook. Dotson joins a team with established stars in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, making him, at best, the third option in the passing game. While Dotson possesses the talent to be a productive receiver, the Eagles' offensive scheme and target distribution raise concerns. Head coach Nick Sirianni and quarterback Jalen Hurts heavily favor Brown and Smith, leaving limited opportunities for a third receiver to thrive. Dotson's fantasy value takes a considerable hit with this trade. He goes from being a potential mid-round steal to a late-round flyer in most fantasy drafts. While Dotson's fantasy stock plummets, Devonta Smith might be the biggest beneficiary of this trade. Smith, entering his third NFL season, has shown flashes of brilliance, but has yet to fully break out. The addition of Dotson could be the catalyst for a monster season for the former Heisman Trophy winner. With Dotson primarily lining up on the outside, Smith is expected to see an increased role in the slot. This plays perfectly into Smith's strengths, as he excels at creating separation and finding open spaces underneath. His precise route running and ability to make defenders miss in the open field make him a dangerous weapon from the slot. Furthermore, New Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Johnson has a history of utilizing his slot receivers effectively. Expect Johnson to scheme ways to get Smith the ball in space, allowing him to showcase his playmaking abilities. Smith's fantasy ceiling is significantly raised with this trade, and he could be in line for a top 10 wide receiver season. On the other side of the trade, the Commanders now have a void to fill in their receiving corps. Terry McLaurin remains the unquestioned number one target, but the departure of Dotson opens up opportunities for other receivers to step up. Diami Brown, a third-round pick in 2021, is the most likely candidate to see an increased role. Brown possesses impressive speed and athleticism, but has yet to translate that into consistent production. With Dotson out of the picture, Brown has a chance to earn a starting spot and become a significant contributor in the passing game. Curtis Samuel, a versatile offensive weapon, could also see an uptick in targets. Samuel can line up in the slot or the backfield, providing quarterback Sam Howell with a reliable target. While Samuel's upside is limited, he could be a valuable asset in PPR or points per reception leagues. This trade has significant fantasy implications for several players. Here's a quick rundown. Jahan Dotson draft stock plummets. Avoid unless he falls to the very late rounds. Devonta Smith, draft stock soars. Consider him a high-end WR2 with WR1 upside. A.J. Brown, minimal impact, remains a top-tier WR1. Terry McLaurin, minimal impact, still the clear WR1 in Washington. Diami Brown, intriguing late-round flyer with upside. Curtis Samuel, potential PPR flex option. The NFL is a constantly evolving league, and this trade is a prime example of how one move can drastically alter the fantasy football landscape. Fantasy managers must stay informed and be prepared to adjust their strategies accordingly. While Jahan Dotson's fantasy value takes a hit, Devonta Smith and other players stand to benefit from this unexpected trade. As the season approaches, keep a close eye on how these players perform in their new roles.